Hi guys, so we're here to do another reading. So the other day I was scrolling through my feed and I actually saw this and I was like, all right, I gotta write this down because I know I'm gonna forget it. So there was this quote that I stumbled across, and this is actually something that I myself, I think, live with quite a bit because I wouldn't say I'm very childish, but I definitely keep my childhood. Like, I've had people, so for instance, I've gone into classes where I pay for it, I go to like a gym, and I'll have fun with people. And I'm like a freaking kid when I go. I'm cracking jokes, I'm laughing, I'm not taking things seriously, I'm having a good time. And I'm around people that are like my age and much older, and people will judge me, and they'll be like, and I'll get along more with like the teenagers because they're more in that childlike wonder than an adult. And then adults will judge me. They'll be like this girl's a joke. I had one guy actually come up to me one day and he's like, I just want you to know everybody in class thinks you're a joke. And I just looked at him and I just laughed. And I was like, okay. And I was still nice to him. I didn't give an F because the truth of the matter is I went there, I had fun. And towards the end there, a lot of people really liked having me around because I've even had people ask me, like, how old are you? It's like, I'm, I'm up there. Like, I'm not young, I'm not old, I'm not young either. like, so it's kind of funny to me how people will judge you based on how much fun and how much childlessness you have. So this quote really rang, gosh, I can't talk, really rang true for me. There we go. It is, the secret of genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. And this is by Aldous Huxley. I hope I said his name correctly. Anyway, but I want to reread that one more time because, like, when I saw that, I immediately thought about that guy that was like, people think you're a joke, you know? Because it's like, and this kid was younger than me too. But it was funny because it was just like, for me, that is how I've always been. I don't want to lose that childlike wonder. So, the secret of a genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. See, like all these people nowadays, they walk around and they think, oh, well, I can't make jokes. I have to be serious. I have to be like this. I have to be like that, or no one's going to take me seriously. And it's like, but then they miss out on spending time with their children because they lose that sense of childlikeness. So when they were around their kid can't have fun with them because they're not having fun. And when they go in and they have, one-on-one with their partner, they are too serious and they can't bridge that gap. So losing that childness is actually, in my opinion, a sad thing. We don't want to lose that sense of wonder, and we don't want to lose us. We don't want to be losing a part of who we are. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is something that is coming up currently. Maybe you guys are dealing with a lot of complexities in life. You're dealing with a lot of ups and downs, some trials, maybe some tribulations, but you're learning. Here's the thing, too. Challenges in life, things will come up, things will happen, but I feel for a lot of you guys, it's learning to nurture that inner child. So I'm going to give an example. Like one day I was really, really, really depressed. And this was probably like a year or two ago, where I was so depressed and I literally was beating myself up. I was really beating myself up. And I've dealt with I was really sick from a good portion of my life. Like, I just did not have good health. Now I am great. I'm actually doing great. But back then I had really bad sickness, and so I'd beat myself up on days where my sickness would take over and I just couldn't do anything. I was lucky if I could get up and take a shower. I was lucky if I could get up and make myself food because I was so ill. And I remember one day I was really beating myself up, and I remember just, I don't know what it was, but there was something about me that's like, no, we need to be kind to myself. Like, I have to be kind to myself. I have to take care of myself. And so I remember laying there thinking, okay, I'm a little kid. Like, if I was a little kid, what does my little kid want to do right now? And I heard watch cartoons and eat cereal and just cover myself up in a blanket. And that's what I did. I just sat there, I watched some cartoons, I curled up with my dogs, I sat there and I watched a show, and I gave myself moments in time and gave myself grace where I just didn't. And we have our little inner dialogues, we have that little inner child inside of all of us. And sometimes we just let it go to the wayside because we feel like we're going to be judged based on how other people are going to perceive us and how others are going to view us. And it becomes a whole thing. Well, I feel like that is a message for some of you guys, is don't allow other people's opinions of you, don't allow other people's judgments of you to stop you from being being childish, being like a child. Now, there's a difference between like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw a tantrum, but like, I remember one time, like, I was never really allowed to truly express my anger. And so there was like a day where I remember when I was with someone, it was like my best friend, and I was telling her, I was like, okay, I'm mad right now and I'm very upset. Let me throw a fit like a little kid. And she's like, no. And I'm like, let me throw a fit like a little kid. I'm gonna throw a tantrum. And it felt so good afterwards. Like, it was so weird. Like, I was flopping around. I mean, I'm like an adult. But you have to do these things sometimes. Sometimes you have to be that little kid again. So find things that you used to do, that you used to enjoy. Like drawing for me and creating art really brings out my inner child, because I would sit and draw for hours and hours. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I had like a little drawing kit, and I had like pastels, I had, crayons, I had just different types of mediums of different types of art. Like, I had watercolors, things like that, and I would just draw and paint for hours, and then I would look at the clock and I'd be sitting there for 3.5 hours to 4 hours, and it felt like 30 minutes to an hour. I love that kind of stuff. So find something, you guys, to work on for your inner child, because I feel like that is something that's really needed for a lot of people right now. And it's like, don't be afraid to go out and do something. So for some of you guys, we all wear masks, we all wear facades, we all pretend that we're something that we're actually not. And that is kind of the fun part about life. I cannot talk. We are all actors. When I'm around one person, I act slightly different than if I'm around a different person, because it depends on how comfortable I feel. It depends on what relationship I have, and also depends on the social structures. I'm not going to be kicking it with my work colleagues like I would my best friend. I'm not going to be going and telling or acting super childish to people that I have to, when I'm making money. There's different things. Like, there's a time and a place for each thing, but I feel like for some of you guys, you may have been in a rigidity. So I love Jim Carrey. I think he's a phenomenal actor. But I remember one time I was scrolling and I saw a video, and it was like a short film, and he was saying, somebody asked him about depression, and he said depression is you putting on a persona or a mask, and you've worn it so long that you're tired and you want to change. And that's what depression is it's like you're just sick and tired of wearing the same mask over and over again. And so for a lot of you guys, you're breaking out of that, because the truth is too, is like, we have to have acceptance in ourselves. Some of you guys, maybe you're too much of a workaholic and you need to go out and play more. Some of you guys too, there's a lot of grief about your childhood. There's a lot of grief about things that haven't worked out for you guys. Maybe you guys are going through so much challenges currently that you feel like you can't play. You feel like you can't go out and enjoy yourself. But all of that grief and all of this it's like all work and no play is not the way to go. And I feel like when you can break into that mold and get out of that and say, you know what, I get to be a child today. I get to go out and have fun today. I get to go out and do something different. And it's like, I have this little card right here and it says, nothing is permanent, Buddha. It's just like face up. It's like, that is so true. Nothing is permanent. So why are we treating like everything is going to fall apart? If you go and have fun, the world isn't going to fall apart. If you go and you do something that you enjoy doing, you're going to be okay. So it's kind of learning to accept that not everything is going to be perfect, and it's getting out of this needing things to be perfect all the time. You don't need things to be perfect all the time in order for you to have fun. You don't need and it's like something to say about that. It's like, even if you don't have all your bills paid, go out and have fun. I'm not saying to go out and blow a bunch of money. I'm not saying to go and be irresponsible, but there is a time and a need. And I feel like for this message, it's basically saying, keep that enthusiasm, keep that childlike wonder, because it's going to reap so much benefits for you guys. You guys don't even know. And I feel like you guys might have dealt with people or situations that really could have put you guys down a lot. Maybe you guys, you feel like you have to protect yourselves. Maybe you guys feel like it's too late to go out and be different or to go out and be a certain way. Like, I almost feel like for some of you guys, there is a limiting belief that you guys have that makes you feel like you can't be yourself, that makes you feel like you have to behave or act a certain way in order to be accepted. And if you were to break out of that, then all of a sudden it's like you might not know what to do. We have this, life itself is a privilege, but to live life to the fullest, well, that is a choice. And that's by Andy Andrews. It's like, I could have just taken that kid at face value and been like, everyone thinks you're a joke. And I could have just took that so personally. But then after the end, like months down the road, I still was being goofy and still being myself. And I ended up going in, and then people be like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you for weeks. Are you okay? Like, people loved to be around me. And I started noticing even adults in the class. 'Cause I'm an adult, all right? I'm an adult. But I have to say it because there was teenagers and adults. But I started noticing that even the adults in the class that I was at started to behave like a child. People started being childish because I gave them that permission, right? I would go and I would joke around and jerk people around in the class, be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 and just be very, very childish. And then that led them to start being that way. So learn to not hold what other people have to say against you. Don't be afraid to have a day. You know, you can take one day out of the whole week. You can take an hour out of your time and do something that is creative and fun, something that you used to do as a kid. Go climb trees, go have fun, go do something that is going to be beneficial for you, because I feel like for a lot of people, that is something that we're missing nowadays, is that childlike wonder, that spark, that going out, having fun. Those things are really important. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, that is something that we all need to work on in our everyday life. And that is to be kind to ourselves, to protect that inner child, and to parent that inner child, to love that inner child, because no one else will. And not only that, but when you start to lose that piece of yourself, you start to lose such a valuable asset. You start to lose parts of you that become creative. You start to lose parts of you that sees life worth living. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is a message today to say, go out and have fun. Go get yourself ice cream. Go do something. Go on a walk. Go on a swing set. Go jump on a trampoline. Go do something that you used to do as a kid and go have fun with it. If you have children, take them out and watch how they behave and learn to go back and adjust yourself, right? Sometimes we always forget that our imagination, that our creativity, those are so important to have. And I feel like we lose that a lot with ourselves because the world beats us down. They tell us you can't be this way, don't dream big, don't go after your goals, be cynical, because that nihilism and cynicism, that is reality. And it's not. It is not. So go out there, be a child, have fun, and think of things that is impossible and make it possible. So that's what I have for you guys. Have a good and wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.